What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have a turning of events as manager and trainer of 3-division undefeated world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world, Terence Bud Crawford. A week ago, it seems as if Terence Crawford, he had his sights set on 8-division legendary world champion, superstar, iconic Filipino boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, as we heard reports that they could be headed to a June 5th showdown. That would be massive. Terence Crawford had been trying to secure a Manny Pacquiao showdown for the better part of 6 years. With that said, we know that legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum stated that last week, the beginning of last week, we were supposed to get an announcement for Terence Crawford's next fight, which Bob Arum, he stated that it was going to be a massive pay-per-view showdown. With that said, the week has passed and we got no announcement, no information. And now we're heading into the middle of the following week. So we're going on 2 weeks since Bob Arum made that announcement and stated that he was going to make a big announcement for Terence Crawford's next fight, was a pay-per-view event. And we got a lot of reports that Manny Pacquiao was going to be the opponent for June 5th. Then Manny Pacquiao and his team, they came out and they disputed it. They stated that that was completely not true, and that 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia was still leading the race as to who was going to be Manny Pacquiao's next opponent. Now, we know Manny Pacquiao himself, he even came out and he stated that, Terence Crawford was in the running, but Manny Pacquiao was leading the race, okay? But as of last week, when Bob Arum made the comments that we could be headed into a major announcement on pay-per-view for Terence Crawford, and he leaned towards, when asked about when is the last time you talked to Manny Pacquiao's team, we know Manny Pacquiao, he was once signed to Top Rank, Bob Arum, and HBO and ESPN, okay? He since made his way outside of Top Rank. He signed with PBC, Premier Boxing Champions founder and advisor Al Heyman, okay? He showcased his last couple of fights with Al Heyman against 4-division world champion, superstar boxer Adrian the Problem Broner. Then he showcased his talents against former unified WBC, WBA welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Keith One-Time Thurman. He was victorious in both of those fights. With that said, Manny Pacquiao is looking to secure the biggest fights, as he stated, but I believe he's looking to secure the biggest fights that are winnable for Manny Pacquiao. Not that he cannot beat Terence Crawford, but Manny Pacquiao at the advanced age of 42 years old, Father Time is undefeated. Okay, so with that said, Manny Pacquiao, Terence Crawford, like I stated, is considered to be top welterweight, top boxer in the world, let alone welterweight. So he's one of the best in the world, okay? Terence Crawford, 33 years of age, okay? He's significantly younger than Manny Pacquiao. Terence Crawford has stopped his last 6 opponents. So Terence Crawford has proven to be, a knockout artist, dare I say, as of late. So, with that said, Terence Crawford, there's a lot of people. You get Timothy Bradley, you get Ray Boo Boo Mancini. They don't, fancy Terence Crawford's resume. And they say that, Terence Crawford getting in there with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is an anomaly in the sport of boxing. 8-division world champion. Terence Crawford, 37 wins, no losses, 28 wins by way of knockout. He's 33 years of age, stands at 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring was November 14th when he stopped former IBF welterweight world champion, British superstar boxer, Special K, Kell Brook. Okay? Terence Crawford, in my opinion, his versatility, switch from southpaw to orthodox, and his punching power on both hands, his athletic ability, that I believe that will prove to be too much for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is not a big guy to begin with, as standing at 5'6", 5'5.5" with a 67-inch arm reach, and he's 42 years of age. So Manny Pacquiao would be at a 2-inch height disadvantage and a 7-inch arm reach disadvantage against Terence Crawford, okay? And boxers always give Manny Pacquiao tons and tons of trouble. With that said, according to Bomac, trainer and manager of Manny Pacquiao, Bomac said that now he has since turned his attention away from Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, 62 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out 3 times. Last time we saw him in the ring was July of 2019 when he took on and defeated Keith One-Time Thurman by a split decision. Okay, Manny Pacquiao stands at 5'5.5" with a 67-inch arm reach, and he's 42 years of age. With that said, Brian McIntyre, trainer and manager of Terence Crawford, he says that they are turning their attention now to two-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter. Okay, Shawn Porter is number 1 in the WBO ranking system. That's the sanctioned body in which Terence Crawford represents. Shawn Porter is the mandatory challenger for Terence Bud Crawford. And now it seems like as if Shawn Porter is going to activate the mandatory position. A lot of people question and wondered why Terence Crawford why Shawn Porter didn't activate, the mandatory challenge position and force the fight upon Terence Crawford. Shawn Porter, 31 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 17 wins by way of knockout. He himself is 33 years of age. He stands at 5'7" with a 69.5-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring was August of 2020 when he took on and defeated Sebastian Famila. Okay, in his last. So he took on and defeated Sebastian Famila in his last fight, got a unanimous decision victory over Sebastian Famila. Okay, so with that said, and he got the unanimous decision victory over Sebastian Famila. Okay, and this is a fight that the fans want to see. They want to see Terence Crawford in the ring with somebody who can match him with athletic ability. Shawn Porter, he probably has arguably the best resume in the sport of boxing. Shawn Porter has arguably the best footwork in the sport of boxing. Shawn Porter is arguably the best athlete in the sport of boxing. Now, Shawn Porter, it doesn't bring the most power to his fights, right? But Shawn Porter is probably the most, I don't want to say probably, he is the most active fighter in the sport of boxing, okay? Now, you have guys that throw a lot of punches, but they're not physically pressuring their opponents. Shawn Porter is going to test you physically and mentally every second of every minute of every round. And this is the fight that the fans are calling for. They want to see Terence Crawford in a fight where his skill set is going to be tested and pushed to the limit. He's going to rise to the occasion. He's going to level off. And his opponent's going to surprise him and be victorious, get an upset victory. Or he's going to, like I said, rise to the occasion, show why he's considered the best fighter in the world, okay? So everybody wants to see how he's going to make adjustments with a guy in the style of a Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter is physically strong. We know Terence Crawford, he came from a low weight class. He came from 135. He moved up to 140 and then 147, okay? But he's not he has a wiry frame. And when you look at, Shawn Porter is a very physical specimen, okay? Shawn Porter is very strong. He's built like a football player. A lot of people you had when he fought 4-division world champion Adrian Broner, and he beat Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner was saying Shawn Porter was playing football. He just pressures you. He brings the pressure. You look at the fight between Shawn Porter and what's considered the biggest fight, the super fight between Terence Crawford and his rival now, undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered top 3 pound-for-pound fighters in the world, Errol the True Spence Jr., Shawn Porter. A lot of people thought that Shawn Porter was going to get run over, that Errol Spence was just going to walk right through Shawn Porter and knock Shawn Porter out, and that was not the case. It was a very, very close fight in which the 11th round knockdown, Errol Spence knocked down Shawn Porter, and then I thought he clearly won the 12th round. I thought that was the difference in the fight, okay? That separate Errol Spence from Shawn Porter at that point in time, okay? It was a very, very tough, physical, very close, competitive fight. And a lot of people thought that Errol Spence was going to knock out Shawn Porter, walk right through Shawn Porter. He's a bigger guy, 5'9", 5'9.5", with a 72-inch arm reach. He's the bigger guy in the ring. He's physically strong. He's a southpaw. And Shawn Porter, he weathered the storms, okay? Even when he got knocked down, it was a beautiful combination, a big, nasty hook on the part of Errol Spence. Shawn Porter was dropped, got back up, and recovered immediately. He recovered quickly, okay? And he started waving Errol Spence on, egging him on, telling him, come on, let's make the fight happen, okay? So with that said, people want to see how, and that was Shawn Porter's second to last fight. So people want to see how Terence Crawford would deal with that style. Now, Terence Crawford, he's fought Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn is a big guy, 5'9" with a 70+ inch arm reach, 71-inch arm reach. Okay, Jose Benavidez Senior, Jose Benavidez Jr. He stands at 6 feet tall. With a 70, I believe 74, 75-inch arm reach, very, very long, very, very rangy, with a lot of power. Okay, that he's a big guy, Jose Benavidez Jr. Okay, so he has fought bigger, stronger guys at welterweight, and he stopped all of these guys. But at times you look at his fight with Kell Brook. Kell Brook jab gave Terence Crawford a lot of trouble. Jose Benavidez gave him a lot of trouble with his length and his size. Okay, people want to see, and they're not the fighters that Shawn Porter is. Okay, they don't bring to the table what Shawn Porter is. So with that said, a lot of people want to see that fight, and it seems like Manny Pacquiao is leaning towards Mikey Garcia, and according to Bomac, they're turning their attention to Shawn Porter. Now, we know Shawn Porter took to social media and he told Terence Crawford, listen, let's make this fight happen. Let's give the fans the fight they want to see. Let's feed the fans. They're hungry for the big fights. Let's feed them the big fights. Let's make it happen. And Terence Crawford, he responded. He said, just stay on standby because now you're testing my patience. Shawn Porter replied, I heard you coming back in May. The end of May, I'll be ready. So let's make it happen. Okay. So Shawn Porter, he did say that he told his father, trainer, and manager, Kenny Porter, that he wanted to, enforce the mandatory position for the WBO. And he said that's the fight. That's his number one objective. Okay. His mind is solely on facing Terence Bud Crawford. Now it seems like the Manny Pacquiao fight is not going to come to fruition. We also heard this in August. Shawn Porter stated that he called and reached out to Terence Crawford, and he asked Terence Crawford, "Is we going to make this happen?" Terence Crawford told him, "Well, we have big plans. If those plans fall through, then we'll revisit the possibility of facing you." They didn't revisit that. That's why they ended up fighting Kell Brook. He's now told Shawn Porter uttered the same sentiments, and now it seems like it could be a possibility because Manny Pacquiao, he truly has no interest in fighting Terence Crawford. If he did, he would have fought Terence Crawford years ago. Okay, he asked for $20 to $25 million according to Bob Arum. Bob Arum said that he didn't want to pay it. He didn't want to see Manny Pacquiao run the risk of getting hurt in the fight with Terence Crawford because he knew the outcome. He also stated that, he was pricing himself out. Now, Bob Arum says that they had an investment group come up with, at the very least $50 million, enough to cover what Manny Pacquiao was looking for. And then he changed the number to now he needs $40 million. And Terence Crawford was willing to accept $10 million, according to Bob Arum, which would be an 80-20 split to make the fight happen. He will not make $40 million to fight Mikey Garcia. So it's abundantly clear Manny Pacquiao truly has no interest in fighting Terence Crawford. He doesn't like the style matchup. We heard his legendary trainer, Hall of Fame trainer, Freddie Roach, he stated that he didn't like the style matchup for Manny Pacquiao with Terence Crawford way back when. So I'm sure at this advanced age, he don't like the style matchup. So it looks like we'd be on the verge of getting Terence Crawford versus Showtime Shawn Porter in the next fight. But we got to see how this plays out and unfolds. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.